Today on the CTV News at 5, a very unexpected start to a second-degree murder trial in a Lethbridge courtroom. Plus, why the Picture Butte Hotel had to be evacuated today, and how much the community of Nanton raised for their neighbors devastated by a massive grass fire.
CTV News with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. Some surprising developments in a second-degree murder trial that was supposed to begin today in a Lethbridge courtroom. Court was ready to begin the 2-week murder trial of 45-year-old Derek Plourde when the accused announced that he was representing himself, but then later changed his mind. The Fort Macleod man is accused of killing 51-year-old George English of Brockett. Police believe the two were involved in a fatal fight on a rural property west of Coleman back in September of 2009. English suffered stab wounds and died at the scene. This morning, Plourde's 2-week trial was scheduled to kick off. Instead, he'll have until Wednesday to try and find a lawyer. Plourde was prepared to represent himself, but then changed his mind. The judge in the case has asked Plourde's family and friends to talk to him about the seriousness of the charges that he's facing. Outside the courtroom, the victim's family and family of the accused threatened each other. The case will return to court on Wednesday. Plourde can either hire a lawyer, have a lawyer appointed for him, or represent himself. Hundreds paid their final respects to Otto Bunty Luce. About 600 people gathered at the Vulcan Community Center for the memorial service over the weekend. The body of the 77-year-old was found in a wooded area January 14th, several days after he was reported missing. Luce was remembered as a kind, generous man who was loved by his community. 35-year-old Timmy Engel is charged with Luce's murder. His common-law wife, Bobby Jo Parks, is charged with obstructing a peace officer in connection with the murder. Well, dozens of antiques and all of an elderly couple's family photos have been stolen from a shed in Pincher Creek. RCMP say that sometime over the last couple of weeks, thieves broke into a locked shed in a backyard and made off with a number of World War I items, including an officer's compass. Dozens of World War II antiques were also stolen, along with a World War II German helmet and all of the couple's family photos. A number of native artifacts were also stolen, including native peace pipes and 200 native arrowheads. The owners traveled south for the winter and had left all of their worldly possessions in the locked shed, and they're offering a reward for any photos that may be found. RCMP believes some of the items may be circulating around southern Alberta, and they're asking residents, pawn shops and antique dealers to keep their eyes open. Lethbridge police are investigating after finding graffiti on a city church over the weekend. 4 graffiti tags mark the All Saints Roman Catholic Church on 24th Street and 12th Avenue South. The tag 187 Bloods was written in pink spray paint. All 4 tags were on the alley side of the church. 2 were on power boxes connected to the building. And officers are also looking into a downtown break-in that happened over the weekend. Early Saturday morning, someone smashed in the back door of a tire shop on 4th Street and 1st Avenue South. Police say it looks like someone went into the building but didn't take anything. The damage estimate on the door is around $1,000. Let's check in with Dory Rossiter. And Dory, still mild and fairly windy for the rest of the week.
Yeah, not bad at all, Jackie. I mean, our winds today maxed out at about 59 for peak gusts. Yesterday in the city of Lethbridge, we had a gust of 94 kilometers per hour, so not as windy as yesterday. We're not expecting those kinds of winds as we continue further into the work week. But yeah, a little windy occasionally, but wait till you see the 5-day forecast, mild temperatures on the way.
Thank you, Dory. Well, picketers against logging near Castle Mountain expect to get a Court of Queen's Bench order to leave the area. Protesters say the RCMP are at the development site and warn that Alberta Sustainable Resource staff will serve the order this evening. This would be the 4th document from the provincial government ordering them to leave. Picketers have been on the site stalling logging for 20 days now. Some have said they're willing to be arrested for their beliefs that the area should be protected from clear-cut logging. Now, 3 women who are charged in connection with a fracking protest on the Blood Reserve have had their court case set over until February 27th. Lois Frank is representing herself, while Ella Maya Tailfeathers and Jill Crop Earned Wolf have hired lawyers to fight the charges. All three have been charged with intimidation. The Crown has been given more time to consider how it'll deal with possible arguments surrounding constitutionality. During her first court appearance, the judge ruled Lois Frank would not be allowed to argue constitutional issues at the trial, but would have the right to speak to the constitutionality of the law if she is found guilty of intimidation.
Well, I understand his position as a provincial court judge, but I believe that the argument has to be made that it is a bigger issue than simply a criminal code offense. There was no harm done. We were concerned. We wanted to know what chemicals were being pumped into the ground. We're concerned about the safety of our members.
Several environmental groups are supporting the women and calling for the Alberta government to place a moratorium on the controversial drilling process until there's more research available on the impact of fracking on groundwater and public health. 10 people were evacuated from the Picture Butte Hotel this morning after alarm bells went off. Firefighters went room to room to make sure everyone was safely out of the building. The hotel also contains a tavern and liquor store. There were no smoke or flames, but heat sensing equipment did locate hotter than normal temperatures in the area of the furnace.
There's approximately 10 people in there when we got on scene, so yeah, we just had everyone evacuated. We did a thorough sweep of upstairs, making sure there was no one left in the rooms, cleared the building, and then we proceeded to go in and have a look around. We have a thermal imaging camera that helps us detect if there's any hot spots or anything in the building.
The hotel furnace was shut down until an expert could be called in to check it out. Nanton residents raised $50,000 to help their neighbors devastated by that massive grass fire back on January 4th. The fast-moving blaze left 4 families homeless, torched hectares of land, and killed dozens of animals, including 60 cats at an animal rescue center. Fortis Alberta has confirmed the fire started when a power line was knocked over by winds gusting over 110 kilometers per hour. The community held an auction and cabaret Saturday night. About 400 people attended. 90% of the proceeds will go to the Nanton Community Emergency Services Relief Fund, which will directly benefit those families who lost their belongings in the fire, and the other 10% is going to the local food bank. Well, 2 Southern Alberta ridings now know who their Tory candidates will be in the upcoming provincial election. Former County of Lethbridge councillor John Colk has won the PC nomination in the riding of Little Bow. Longtime MLA Barry McFarland had represented the riding for 20 years. However, he isn't running for re-election. Meanwhile, Darren Hirsch has been elected to represent the PCs in Medicine Hat. Rob Renner has held that riding for the Tories for the last 18 years, and he is also not seeking re-election. Well, a public hearing that would have allowed community members to offer their thoughts on MLA pay and pensions has been cancelled because of a lack of interest. The hearing was scheduled for Lethbridge, Medicine Hat, Red Deer, Fort McMurray, and Grand Prairie. But the provincial commission overseeing the salary issue says a lack of interest has led to the cancellation. The economy, housing, and environmental impacts were top questions in Elkford, BC, as plans to build a new coal mine in the district were laid out. Coal mining is already the biggest industry in the valley, and now a new company is looking to get in on the action. Kimberly Davidson reports.
There are plans to start up another coal mine in the district of Elkford. Centermount Coal owns 4 licenses in the district, and the company hopes to be producing 2 million tons of coal a year by 2017. The chairman of Centermount, Jack Austin, says the project has investors from China, but now it needs to find a lot more money to make the idea a reality.
We know we have a project that will cost about $500 million to bring into production. And now we are having to go to a major coal company globally, to begin with Chinese companies, to find that kind of money, $500 million, to bring this property into commercial production.
The project is just beginning its environmental assessment process. If the mine does start up, it could employ up to 300 people.
The question is, can we find them? There's such a competition for trained and competent people these days in the resource sector. It's one of our big concerns is where do we get the workers?
The company plans to operate on 8-hour shifts to encourage workers to live in the community, something the mayor of Elkford says would be a benefit.
We need that increase in the population. As you know, the healthcare is an issue for us, as well as the schools are losing students, and so if we can increase by 30, 40 or 50 families, that's a huge benefit to us.
The proposed mine is a relatively small operation when compared to others in the area. Teck operates several mines in the region and produces 22 million tons of coal per year out of the Elk Valley. Kimberly Davidson, CTV News, Elkford.
If all goes as planned, construction could start as early as 2014. Well, Lethbridge College has new work of art to welcome its visitors and recognize its history. College dignitaries unveiled a mural depicting the heritage of First Nations, Métis, and Inuit culture. The Alberta Foundation for the Arts awarded the college a grant of $10,600 for the project last year. Artist Delilah Crosschild is a Lethbridge College alum. She says she's proud to have her work displayed for all to enjoy.
Well, as an artist, I'm always inspired by other artists and the work that they do. I hope that students or the viewer is inspired to pursue their dreams, to dwell in the idea of possibility, that things are possible.
The canvas painting is on the display in the center core of the college. Well, the Alumni Association of the University of Lethbridge has introduced a bold U of L ring design in celebration of its 45th anniversary. The Fiat Lux ring is aimed at helping alum show pride in the university in a very distinctive fashion. It was designed by Eric Klimpenauer, a fine arts student at the university. Each ring costs $249 plus tax. They can be ordered at the alumni office on campus. Hundreds of people in Lethbridge celebrated the Year of the Dragon last night. The Lion Dance kicked off the annual Chinese New Year party at the Regent Restaurant. Lethbridge's Chinese Cultural Society hosted the event. Guests, including local dignitaries, enjoyed a traditional 10-course meal and entertainment to ring in the new year. The Chinese zodiac holds the dragon as the luckiest symbol. So some people are predicting a year of optimism, change, and prosperity. And speaking of prosperity, it looks like the loonie is going to hang in there, although we did close a little lower today. It's still trying to get up to par. Here are the closing numbers.